Morning guys, it's Monday morning and I'm in the Abel Tasman National Park on the southern island of New Zealand, and I'm just setting out from Marahau now on a 5-day trip. I've got the raft with me as well, and I'm going to do a bit of coastal rafting here. There's a couple of inlet crossings to do, so rather than having to wait for low tide and cross them, hopefully I'll be able to use the raft and maybe do a bit of a trip along the coast today as well. So heading out now and I'll take you along. This initial part of the walk, once you get across a couple of bridges on sort of a floodplainy area, comes into a bit of a bushy area where you're under cover, which is nice. Makes it nice and cool, and the sun's not so much an issue. I must say there was an awful lot of people coming through at the start, so I've been surprised as I've got out onto the track proper that I actually seem to be on my own, which is nice. I was a bit worried that there was going to be a few too many people, but looking good so far. So I've just detoured off the main track. I'm heading down to Colachi Bay. All my pronunciation is probably terrible, but the plan from here is to potentially inflate the raft and paddle along the coast for a little bit rather than do the walk along the coastline. That should save me about half the distance. I think it's about a 4k paddle as opposed to an 8k walk, and in addition, this section of the walk has got a little bit of up and down, so it'll be nice to let the raft take the weight of the pack for a little while. Well, getting in off the beach was interesting. The waves were a little bit higher than I expected, but all good. A little bit of a swell, but once I get out a bit deeper, I should be alright. Well, once I got out past that first point, I've come in behind an island that's out to my right, and that seems to have reduced the swell down a bit, which is nice. So it's a lovely, pleasant day out here, lovely and sunny, warm, so I'm going to enjoy the paddle as opposed to the walk that I could have been doing along the cliff line. Past the northern tip of the island out to my right, and the swell seems to have picked up again, but it's not too bad. I'm just looking at the beach beside me to the left here, and it looks like it's going to be interesting coming ashore because there's going to be little waves to manage as I go. So I think I've got one more point to go around, and my exit point back onto the track will just be up here a bit further. Yep, there's a sign, Watering Cove. It's where I want to be. It's got a couple of little rolly waves right on the beach. Well, about 12:30 guys, and I'm packed up after the paddle, and I'm continuing on to Anchorage, which is where I'm camping for the night. So I think according to that sign back there, from here it's only about a 25-minute walk, so paddle along the coast has definitely saved me a fair bit of walking today. Well, it's been a fair bit of a hill come out from Watering Point after my nice easy paddle along the coast. Lugging this pack up a hill is definitely a lot less fun. But anyway, I can't be too far from the top. I'm guessing that's Anchorage down there, but still a little bit more uphill to do before I can start making my way down. It's only about 1:20, but I've got in and snagged myself a tent site at Anchorage and pretty much set up for the night. So I might go for a bit of an explore after I have some lunch. I don't know how good the site is going to be. There's lots of people here, so it's already pretty noisy. There's another campsite behind me with a heap of kids that are teenagers that are a bit noisy. And I can see some of these wiki birds hanging around already that are apparently notorious thieves, so I need to make sure that I don't leave anything laying around for them. But I'm going to have some lunch and I'll see if maybe I go for a walk this afternoon. Hey guys, this is the bay down at Anchorage, and tomorrow I'm going to paddle just over there somewhere and continue the walk rather than doing the estuary crossing on foot, which requires low tide. But this afternoon I'm going to do a walk up along part of what would be the track that I would take tomorrow, and then turn off to go and check out Cleopatra's Pool. Just walking down to check out the low tide track route to Torrent Bay. Although I won't be using it tomorrow because the tide will be high in the morning when I'm set to go. But I'm just going to go and have a look. I'll raft across the bay instead, and the alternative is to do the high tide track. But I'll have a bit of a look and see what it's like. So that is the low tide track there, and obviously low tide at the moment because I can walk out on it. Yeah, so it looks like it's straight across there and then up the track, but I'll shortcut this and that next headland and go straight across to the beach. So it looks like even at low tide you would get wet feet crossing across here. I'm presuming those red pole markers or orange pole markers are the route. So back on the track to the high tide track and to Cleopatra's Pool, and got a bit of climb again. Well, it looks like no Cleopatra's Pool for me. The landslide here behind me means the bridge is out. To cross the river at all, you've just got to wade across to get to the high tide track to get around to Torrent Bay. But it looks like you need to get to the other end of that bridge to continue on to Cleopatra's Pool, and bridge is out of action. So I shall head back and continue on tomorrow. I've found a bit of a sketchy side track, and I'm hoping this will take me to the point past the river so that I don't have to cross it, and that then I might be able to cut across the low tide track from Torrent Bay back to Anchorage, which will save me the need to go back up over the hill. If not, this will be an extra little bit of a walk, but fingers crossed I can get a bit of a shortcut. Okay, I think I've had success. I'm on the correct side of the river, so I don't have to cross it. I'm on some flats now and I can see a marker sign. So hopefully that means rather than the, I don't know, 50 odd minute walk I did over the top of the hill, I can bypass all that and it'll be like a 10-minute walk just across the bit that I walked before. The signage could be better, like they could point out that this is a good low tide option, if it is in fact a low tide option, we'll see. And maybe some signage that Cleopatra's Pool was not accessible would have been nice before I set out on what was going to be a 2-hour return walk. But anyway, I got out, got a bit more exercise, and all good. Hi guys, it's Tuesday morning and it's the second day of my walk. I camped up in here last night, and this morning I'm going to set out to cross Anchorage in the packraft. Unfortunately the rain came down just as I started packing up the tent, so now everything is wet. But this morning anyway, it looks like it's clearing a little bit now. I'm going to head over that way to the beach on the other side. There's a fair bit of swell coming across the bay. It's down this far end of the beach, protected by a little outcrop behind me. So it looks like I should be able to get in here without any dramas. There's not really much in the way of waves. Mind you, I say that now, we'll see what happens when I actually get to shore. I might go up this way a bit further where it's even gentler. It's just about 9:30 AM and I'm finally repacked after my crossing of the bay, and I'm just about to head off on my way to Bark Bay now. The pack feels a little bit heavier now. I don't know if it's psychological, but it might be just because the boat and things in the boat bag are wet. Yeah, only a couple of hours to tonight's stop, so not too bad given it's only 9:30 in the morning now. So that's Torrent Bay just down there where I came across to this morning. That's the estuary up there, or the inlet, where I would have done the crossing if it had been low tide, and I would have been able to walk across that. And then over that way, over there past the boats, is where I paddled from this morning and came across to here. Well, it looks like somebody didn't get the memo about at least 3 days of fine weather because it's been raining, just misty rain since not long after I started walking. The problem is it's reasonably warm, so it's too hot to put a rain jacket on. So at this stage I'm just getting a little bit damp. I did just check the weather on my Garmin, and apparently the rain's only this morning today, and it should clear up this afternoon, so hopefully that means I can dry out when I get to Bark Bay. Unfortunately though, it looks like the next couple of days might be rain, so that's less pleasant. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Hey guys, I've been walking for about an hour and a half since I left Torrent Bay, and I've just reached the turn off to South Head, so I'm going to take the opportunity to have a bit of a break, drop the pack, which is the first time I've had it off since I got going. It's definitely feeling heavy, so I think it's just all the wet gear, like even the tent was wet when I packed it up this morning. So I'll get that off for a minute. I might do the 5-minute walk out to South Head, and I'll just leave the pack here. Unfortunately I didn't get to stop and look at some of the other places along the way. Like the suspension bridge looked amazing with the river under that, but there was just a stack of people coming the other way, and no real opportunity to stop and check it out. And I think Sandfly Bay was the last bay that I could have gone down to, but again, with the weather just being a bit wet, not much fun. Like I'm pretty keen to get to camp and find some shelter and dry out, but otherwise it would have been a nice pack raft under the suspension bridge up the river there. So this is South Head. I'll give you a look at the view. Hey guys, after a morning of being a bit damp, I've got through to Bark Bay, and the weather's lovely now. The sun's come out. I've got the tent dried out and it's now set up, and it's only early afternoon, it's 1 o'clock. I was considering going for a paddle this afternoon, but the breeze is up a little bit, so I don't know how good that would be. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to leave the pack and all the gear here, and I'm actually going to walk on to tomorrow's destination, because apparently there's a pizza place there. So a pizza and a beer this afternoon sounds great, and then I'll come back and do it all again tomorrow. Morning guys, I'm heading off on day 3 of my walk. I didn't really get up to a lot yesterday afternoon. I was originally going to go for a paddle, but there was a bit of an onshore wind that made that look like ideal. So I started walking on to the further north along the track. I got to the Tonga Quarry, but it was going to be another couple of hours to get onto the lodge at Aurora, where I thought I might have snuck through for a beer and then come back, but it was just a bit too far, so came back and just chilled out for the afternoon. Setting off today, about a 4-hour walk to Aurora, but hopefully I should be able to stop at the lodge and get a pizza and a beer this afternoon, so that'll be nice. And tonight was meant to be my second last night on the track. I've got tonight and tomorrow night, but with the weather coming in, I'm currently exploring some options to maybe finish tonight as my last night, and so come home one night early and get a water taxi out from Aurora. But I'll see how I go. I've got my dedicated crew back home working on some options for me. Hey guys, I'm at Tonga Quarry and I'm about to head out for a paddle to go and see if I can see the Tonga arches. After checking out the arches, I thought I hadn't gone far enough, so I went down to the big point that I could see, but it was clearly too far. So got a bit of an extra paddle in. Looks like the surf's come up a bit on the beach and the free entry, so I'll see how I go here. I'm packed up from Tonga Quarry where I went for a paddle, and now heading on to Aurora. Can't pronounce these bloody New Zealand names. But anyway, I'm hoping the lodge there is only about 2 hours away. The sign says it's 3 hours to the campground, but I think it's maybe an hour further on from the lodge. We'll see. Good morning guys, it's Thursday morning and the fourth day of my Abel Tasman Coast Track trip, and as you can see from the rain, it's not ideal weather for hiking, so I pulled the pin last night when I got here through to the lodge and had my pizza for dinner. I decided to book into the lodge rather than camp for the night, and I was meant to have another day of hiking and another night's camp tonight, but I've pulled the pin on that and I'm going to get a water taxi out this morning and head back to Nelson. So I hope you enjoyed the part of the trip that I did, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.